What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Realtor Success Podcast, where you're going to get to hear from all kinds of top producing real estate agents who are crushing it in different ways. These are their stories for your inspiration. Today, I've got a treat for you. This guy who I've got on today is not just one of the best realtors and has the biggest giving heart that I know. Not to hype him up too much, but he's also one of my best friends since high school. And I'm so thrilled that we get to do business with him. He is an icon agent here at our company, which means he has achieved more sales than 96% of the agents in our organization. He is a influencer within his community. He's a absolute force within the real estate space, leader to over 150 agent partners here at eXp Realty in the Wolfpack. I'm so thrilled to have my best friend, Mr. John Michael Perez. What's going on, dude?
Let's go. I'm excited to be here, excited to share a ton of value. And to all the listeners, take notes. We're about to share some great resources for you.
What's cool is John and I have done podcasts together. We were in the Real Estate Virgins podcast. We've done multiple different agent-led resources. So this is kind of a funny thing for us to be doing because this interview is all about John. And usually there's a lot of back and forth. We're sharing tips and tricks. That's for a different time. John, I think it's important that people get to know you, the man behind the production and the absolute powerhouse that you are within our industry now. Take us back, give us the origin story. What were you doing before real estate? What got you into it? Because all of us have hit that point at some point in our careers where some kind of inkling was, we had the angel and the devil on our shoulders going, maybe you should get into real estate. What did that look like for you?
Well, this is an interesting interview because you're my best friend and we grew up together. I
know everything about you.
I'm going to switch it back to you. I'll answer it. But from your perspective, what did the beginning of my career look like to you, at least?
Well, I remember you were waiting tables and at Kirby Lane, fantastic queso, by the way.
Yeah.
And me knowing your story, like you Googled what's the quickest or how can I become a millionaire? And real estate was like the second or third option that popped up. And you didn't want to do the first two because you don't have a body for OnlyFans. And yeah, maybe it wasn't a thing back in the day. You're lucky that didn't populate first. And then you got into it and it was a big risk for you. At the time, were you and Courtney married at that time?
We're fiancés. Yeah, she was my fiance.
Yeah. So your fiance, you're looking at her going, hey, I'm going to leave the only stable thing that we have right now and take this big chance on myself and get into being self-employed. And I remember your first year, man. Like it was a different market. What year was that?
And I apologize. We were married. It was 2017.
Wow. Courtney's going to hear this and be so mad.
I'm
going to send this clip to her.
Right. Yeah. 2017, I remember I was waiting tables for 8 years prior to that. We were in a heavy metal band for those same 8 years. It was super fun, traveled all over the US. I've shared this story a million times, but it was just so much fun. And we've got a lot of memories from that.
Some of the things that we're doing now, we were doing back in the band days too. There's been some great lessons from self-promoting your shows, your album releases, doing studio updates, and all that fun stuff has translated into your real estate career.
Yeah, and now we like X'd it. We've X'd what we were doing back then,
And we're getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the best part is now we're making money. It's incredible. What a trade-off.
Yeah. Well, so from the very beginning, I just remember waiting tables and I did actually enjoy it. I loved meeting new people. I loved serving. And
me too. It was my favorite job other than real estate was waiting tables. Loved it.
Yeah. And to be honest, though, there was a lot of anxious nights. There was a lot of anxiety that it gave me because I remember, forgetting people's drinks or, forgetting people's orders. I remember I had a ton of anxiety during that time, but at the same time, it was a really fun time. So 8 years in, I was just like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm done. I'm not enjoying it. I like the job, but I don't love the job. And I just remember back when I was growing up, there was a kid who used to take me. I used to go out to eat with him after church, and his parents used to always pay for our food. And his dad was a real estate agent, and Like you said, I Googled how to become a millionaire randomly at a coffee shop. And the third option was real estate. I don't know if it was necessarily a real estate agent, but I just figured, hey, you know what? Let me look into this. And I called around, found a few real estate schools, and got my license within the next few months. And it was just a big risk. I remember quitting my job on a whim. And actually, I just recently went to Kirby Lane, and there's still some people there that work there 9 years later. 8 or 9 years later. And it's just cool to see that we've been so consistent for so long that we've gotten the results that we've gotten. And so many people are like, John, how did you do it? And I look back 9 years and I think I just never gave up. And here's the thing, to be honest, didn't really slow down either. I mean, there were little small weeks maybe where I slowed down and gave myself some time, but at the same time, it was a very consistent 9 years, and we're literally just getting started. So I'm so excited about.
Yeah, it's awesome because there's a few pieces of your story that I want to make sure that we include. Number one, give us your background, like growing up. What did childhood look like? This real estate success that you're experiencing was probably something that you never imagined was possible for you.
Yeah, so I grew up on welfare, food stamps. I remember growing up in a dilapidated trailer. I remember I used to never invite people over to my house because it was so embarrassing inside that house. And now I live in a 700,000 plus dollar home, which is pretty cool. But I remember, Jordan, do you remember when you came over to my house and you knock on the door and I was playing
You're playing
RuneScape?
RuneScape.
Yeah, inside.
He real quickly ran to the door, threw the door open so I could come inside, and then he was back on his keyboard just clicking away.
Yep. And to be honest, that game actually taught me a lot too. It taught me organization. It taught me bringing people together. But yeah, so those were the times, and I do remember really not growing up around too many people that achieved many really cool things, except one friend of mine. Coincidentally, his name was Jordan as well. He had a really nice house. I saw his dad work really hard, and that was a little bit of seeds of inspiration that I grew up being around too. So those were a few things. Also grew up went to a school where there was a few people that did really well, like their parents did. So I always saw like what was possible. But now, 20, 30 years later, it's been a wild ride for sure.
It's pretty cool to look back on. I'm sure if you could go back and talk to that, that little kid, you'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna get through this, man. You're gonna be all right."
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's just like if you don't have the examples actively in your life, and I think that's an important lesson, that a recurring theme of the top producers that I've interviewed on this podcast is they all had someone that inspired them because it showed them what was possible. And being around a group of the kind of places you want to go, there's something super valuable in that. If you're, I always say, if you're the biggest fish in your pond, you need a bigger pond. One thing that you always tell me is the quickest way to go from here to here is get around as many people who are up here as possible. There's a lot. I mean, there's like religious notes in that. I remember growing up in the church and having our pastor say, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future." And it's very much the same in business. So you get licensed 2017, and you must have just started killing it from the jump, because look at you now. Like, it must have always been like this. What was that first year like?
Oh, it was incredible. It was a lot of Uber driving and walking dogs and trying to make ends meet. I remember walking into my broker's office and looking for free food because couldn't afford lunch, right? And the first 6 months were tough. I mean, I remember I knew that there was going to be success eventually, but I didn't see it and I was working towards it, but I was not getting paid. And so many people that work in traditional jobs, they go to work and then they get paid that week, right? And in real estate, it's like, no, I go to work for several months and then I finally get paid like 3 to 4 months later. And that is a very big lesson for me, is like, whatever I do right now, I'm not going to see a result for 3 to 4 months later. A lot of people, they'll get a lot of success and then they'll put their foot on the brake and then wonder why their business sucks 3 to 4 months later. And it's like, no, it's because 3 to 4 months ago, you weren't doing anything because you put your foot on the brake, you know?
Yeah, great lesson there. You got to keep building that pipeline. And a lot of especially newer agents get hyper focused on whatever the immediate payout is in front of them. Oh, you got that new lead, they go 100% all in. I completely stop doing anything else. And that's one of the biggest killers of your business because you not only need money 30 days from now, you need it 6 months from now, you need it 12 months from now, you need 18 months from now. So you got to keep building those connections. And if there's a common theme that I've noticed from having been now in a position to partner with so many agents that are at different points in their careers, it's the ones that are standing out no matter what the market looks like. They're constantly moving, they're constantly making progress towards something. They're doing something on a daily basis that's moving their business forward so that when they look back on the week, they may not have gotten a closing out of that week, but they can confidently say, I did what I needed to reach a new audience, to get myself more known, to gain more leverage or influence. And though you stack those small wins week over week, and it leads to really big returns.
I agree. I just had a meeting with an agent just a couple hours ago, and she took me to the side and said, "Hey, John, I just want to give you a heads up. This month I've got 8 houses under contract,
Woo!
and all from joining and partnering up with you, Jordan, and Emily." And I was like, "Are you serious? 8 houses under contract? That's incredible." And she goes, "John, I tripled my business just this year as compared to last year when I wasn't partnered with you guys." And I'm like, her name's Raquel. And I'm like, wow. I love hearing those types of stories because it just reminds me that everything that we're doing is working and it's
One
worth it.
thing One thing to speak about Raquel is I look at her because everyone's success story looks different in real estate. Raquel came in, partnered up with us, I want to say maybe a little bit over a year ago, and didn't have an immediate change, but she was so consistent. She did everything as far as like she's built such a strong brand. I'm so proud of her for doing that because she's really tapped into the Brazilian community. That's one of her defining kind of niches and she's all in on it. I mean, it wasn't long after she joined that she was throwing events at like Brazilian salons and networking with those people. And then what do you know? You fast forward a little bit. She did those things so consistently. Now she's in a place where she's got 8 under contract. Like that's such a huge testament to what can happen. And to anyone listening, by the way, if anything that we have to say or if you're interested about the tools and resources that are helping agents like Raquel, like John Michael, like myself achieve the results that we're having, we'd like to invite you to just have a conversation and explore the tools, resources, and community that we offer here at the Wolfpack. I'm going to have a link in the description for you to book a call with us. We're absolutely no pressure, no hassle. We just want to see if what we have to offer is going to benefit your business. But that's the biggest thing is Raquel got in a place where people were crushing it and her results drastically changed. That's not by accident. That's destiny, really. When you put yourself in a position to win and you start winning, it's not coincidence.
Yeah.
I think too many people get caught up in there's a lot of relationships, and I value relationships a lot. But if you're at a place where you're only there, like how do I say this politely? It's my podcast, so I can kind of say it however I want. But to keep a nice friendly line here, there's more to when you're running your business, it's more than just who makes me feel good, right? There's tools, there's resources, there's value that has to be given in the real estate world for, in my opinion, for a partnership to make sense. And so we just invite you where if you're not getting that or if you're just curious, we want to explore that with you. So John, let's talk about your break, right? Your big break within real estate. So how long was it before you got your first deal? How did that come about? And how awesome was that first client?
6 months. It took me 6 months to get my first deal closed. And I was running, gunning. I had zero confidence. My first deal, it was this worst client I've ever had. I'm just kidding. And I was probably the worst agent he ever had. uh,
That's so funny.
nah, and
I hadn't thought about it from that perspective.
was actually my first client. Helped him buy a house And I remember specifically, and this is a very big learning lesson for a lot of agents. I remember specifically calling him or maybe texting him, and it was like, "Hey, I'd just like to practice a buyer consultation with you." Do you remember that? We
I
were at
do. And I was like, dude, I just renewed my lease, but like, yeah, I'll go entertain it, which I'm not in the market, but
no,
I
but
had just,
I was legitimately just wanted to practice with you. It was like, "Hey,
yeah,
can I just practice this consultation with you?" And you were like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And so we
I
meet
was in because you bought me coffee. I said, sure, I'll go. We went to Coffee Bean.
And yeah, and so then we went to Coffee Bean, and that's coincidentally the same coffee shop that I decided that I was going to quit my job and get into real estate. And so I meet up with you, and we go over the process, right? And I'm just practicing with you. And I remember somewhere in the middle of the conversation, you were like, "Wait a minute, so there's a loan program that's zero down, and you can get the closing costs paid for by the seller?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you were like, from my perspective, it seemed like light bulbs were going off in your head, and you're like, "Well, you just did it. So I know
Yeah.
that if you did it, I know I can do it."
Well, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, literally, I just renewed my lease on my apartment. And so I had 11 months left on that. And I was like, there's no way I could do this. But the way it was positioned was like, you have an opportunity within the market right now to secure a home. And if I could make it as painless as possible on like a financial burden standpoint, would you be open to seeing what that was like? And I was like, yeah, might as well.
Mhm. And I remember we got somebody to lease out your property too, and that person that leased out your property worked with me at Kirby Lane. I don't know if you remember that. And so,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
They destroyed my refrigerator. But aside from that, they helped me get into a home. So
yeah.
all good.
But shortly after, like, helping you buy that house, a light bulb went off. And one of my biggest limiting beliefs, and if you're listening right now and you have a lot of limiting beliefs, listen very closely. One of my biggest light bulbs was, hey, you know what? I've been focusing too much on getting new clients, and let me transform that mindset into, how do I just make more friends, right? Because if that was my limiting belief, is like, clients are probably going to deny me, but if I just make more friends, then it's so much easier to have conversations with them, right? Because now it's not really coming from a place of, hey, I want something from you. It's more like, hey, how do we build a beneficial relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship, to where it's not just me getting something, it's me helping you get something that's worthwhile in your life. And also, I will benefit it from it eventually, right? And so that was a really big light bulb moment. And I started gaining more confidence over time, because what I realized is if I anchor my confidence in the fact that I do care more than a lot of other people, then I'm going to be so much more confident than if I anchored my confidence in what I did or didn't know, because at that time I did not know a lot, right? And so a
Yeah,
lot.
or your current results. If your confidence is
Yeah.
rooted in I haven't produced anything, you've already dug yourself this confidence rut that you're battling against yourself.
Yes.
One thing that in Kevin's episode that we did right before yours was he said I like cuz he cold calls. That's one of his methods of getting business. And I said, "What would you attribute like to success with cold calling?" He said, "You have to have a delusional amount of confidence." And I thought that was so great. It's such a good little nugget there because that's the only way to describe it. When I look at the people who have pushed through tough markets or tough circumstances, it's always I have this undeniable belief in myself that I'm going to figure it out one way or another and things are going to be good as long as I do the work.
Yeah, and to go with all of that, once I built a lot of confidence over the past 9 years, just the past few months, I started accumulating, like, okay, how did I go from 0 deals in my first 6 months to our organization selling over 140 million just this year? And it's like, okay, well, I looked at my personal business, and what I did is I put together this acronym. It's CARE, CA, and it's cultivate authentic relationships every day, right? And so, how do we cultivate authentic relationships every day? And when we look at it from a place of how do we make more friends? How do we add more value? How do we plant more seeds with more people? Then just naturally opportunities are going to arise, right? There's this lawyer who has grown to be a really good friend of mine. And I get this text this morning, and this lady, she's said, "Hey, I just got referred to you. I need to sell my house ASAP. And I was referred to you by this lawyer," right? And honestly, bro, I did not really ask for the referral. Like, I never said, "Hey man, can you send me referrals?" It was just like me saying, "Hey, I've got a lot of people that might need your help, so I'm just going to send them your way," right? Or another opportunity, man, I've just got so many opportunities just like that. I'm just planting seeds constantly, and I'm
And you're
constantly,
also giving.
yeah.
You're also giving
So that's
more
what I
than
mean
you
by
expect
planting.
in return.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean by planting seeds. Is I'm planting seeds by giving, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but even if 10% of the seeds that I plant work out, if I'm planting a lot of seeds, then 10% of a million seeds is still 100,000 seeds, right? Yeah,
No, that's good because I think a lot of times we almost feel a sense of entitlement when we give. I think that's just the human nature. It's like this bad shtick that we have where if I give something, it's only natural to feel like, okay, like I'm some people call it karma, where if I put out something good, am ultimately going to get something good back. In the real estate world, it doesn't always work that way. And in fact, more times than not, you just give because it's a good thing to do. You've got connections, you're connecting, like you're a connector. That's one thing you're so good at. And we'll talk about that with your dad's group here shortly. But when you connect people, it's the more you're doing for others, the more likely it actually is going to come back to you in some form or another, whether it's them actually working with you directly, or just like you mentioned, in this case, it's a referral. If I have someone who is constantly giving to me, part of me is sitting there going, how can I repay that to them? Like they're blessing me. How can I be a blessing to them? I think the good people in this world think of things that way. And you've done such a good job with, I have so many connections now with all kinds of professions across my entire area. I mean, I can't even go anywhere with this guy without like 7 people stopping and being like, "Oh, it's John, dude, what's up?" And here I am. I'm like 6 years or 7 years in Leander, and no one recognizes me. And I'm like, that's just influence. Like you've cultivated such a great influence within your group and within this community.
but you have influence within your groups too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like on a different scale, for sure. Let's talk about, I feel like the dad's group that you started, which came from really a sincere yearning for something, has turned into this amazing referral machine for you. Can you talk about like maybe the origin story of that, what the early days were like, and maybe how you scaled it and what's happening within that group now for your business?
Absolutely. Close to actually over 75 million in sales just from Facebook groups. And that came from a very genuine place of I started a Facebook group 5 years ago and almost 6 years ago. And I had my first son and I just wanted I wanted new friends that had kids because at that time I didn't have any friends that had kids. And started this Facebook group. It grew super organically. And at the beginning, I genuinely did not start it to get any business. It was, hey guys, let's hang out, let's go do stuff. And then now, 5 years later, we have over 3,600 members. And it's been really cool because what I realized is so many people are moving to our area that that do not know anyone as well. And so now it's this ecosystem of people ecosystem of trust, right? And so if somebody needs a painter, somebody needs a roofer, somebody needs an agent, they can go to the group. And since other people are working with those vendors, they trust the other people, right? And so actually got a free course on Facebook groups teaching you exactly what I've done in our free agent protocol community. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to plug that yet, but
No, let's do it. Let's do
yeah,
it. This is a great time. I mean, everything we're about to explore with this Facebook group is You just heard it. I mean, he's sold 75 million worth of real estate for free, other than some paid events that you get sponsors involved with. And I would say for a pretty minimal cost, the exchange has been pretty incredible. And it's now taken a life of its own. And John teaches in this course exactly how he did it. We'll talk about a few of the points here, but if you really want that tactical, detailed information, hearing exactly how he did it, the agent protocol course, there's going to be a link in the description. You are welcome to join that. There's absolutely no charge. We do have a premium version full of more loaded features and courses and live calls, but you can absolutely access the agent protocol free version right now, no matter where you're at, no strings attached.
Yeah, super valuable. I mean, it shares everything from Facebook groups to YouTube. We've got Suman Kim on there too, sharing YouTube, and even Mike Sherrard. We've got a video from him teaching the exact steps on how to become successful. Suman actually got 87 deals in his first year just from YouTube. So we've got
Not a
some,
big deal.
yeah, over $1 billion in sales worth of training in that free community. So very valuable, completely free too. And so going back to Facebook groups, yeah. So I've just been able over the last 5 years to build an enormous amount of trust with an enormous amount of people. And at full transparency, I'm not the only agent in that Facebook group, but I am the authority figure, right? And so as the authority figure within the Facebook group, I think obviously more people lean towards working with me. And that's one of the most popular questions that agents ask me is, do I allow other real estate agents in my Facebook group? And,
Yeah.
and to this day, I don't have a good answer to that. I will say what I do is I do allow other agents in it. And I just offer more value than the other agents. I definitely have one that I'm thinking of that I've wanted to kick out for several
Give him the
years
ban hammer.
but I
There's not an easy way to approach that.
yeah.
But I think what's cool with your Facebook group is you're gonna, like, in this training that we just mentioned, which is within the agent protocol free version, you actually go into very tactical tips about how to position yourself as the authority figure. I'm not going to give away all the secrets. I think there's a ton of value and reasons that you should sign up for that community. But one thing that you do so well that I think is super cool is, as the group admin, you can change kind of what's next to, like, a brief, almost like a one line thing about you that pops up every single time that you comment, that you post, everything. And yours says group real estate expert. And you want to talk about, when people are seeing that repeatedly, how can they not think of you anytime that they have a question about real estate? They're going to go, man, John has beaten it into my head that he is the go-to person for this. I've got to reach out to him. So that's a super genius thing. And there's so many things within that, because I've seen you do this training so many times that it's gold. This is a literal gold mine. And for the listener, it may not be a dad's group. It may be a vintage clothing group. It may be a watch collectors group. It may be a dog group. Whatever it is, something that you're passionate about or something that will fill a need for you that other people are looking for, go out there and create it. John will teach you exactly how to do that. And
Somebody is cultivating your clients, cultivating an ecosystem for your clients. Somebody is. So it better be you, right?
it might as well be you.
Yeah, it might as well be you, right? And so whether that be a newsletter or in-person events, tonight we've got 35 people that signed up. And guys, what I've gotten really good at is leveraging. And let me explain this. Tonight we have an event, 35 dads have signed up. This amazing guy that teaches SEO strategies for small businesses is going to be teaching this class, right? All I did was I said, hey, VFW, do you mind hosting this event? I said, hey, Austin, do you mind leading this event? And now it's one of my events, sort of, but 35 people have signed up to this event. And guess what they have to do when they sign up to this event? They put their
I bet
information.
I know.
Yeah, they put their information in an RSVP, and now I put their information into my newsletter, right? But here's the thing, it comes from a genuine place of value, right? I'm not just asking for their information. I'm connecting them with the leading expert in SEO in our local area. And then secondly, I'm putting them into a newsletter that gives them even more value, right? So local discounts, local events, best coffee shops, best restaurants. And then at the very bottom, 15% out of the newsletter is my little real estate corner, right? But I'm not beating them over the hammer with work with me, I'm a real estate agent, work with me, I'm a real estate agent. I'm trying to provide opportunities to give them genuine value to legitimately help their life.
Yeah, and you gain so much influence when not just this online figure. You're doing in-person events because you're there in front of them now. You're getting to interact with them. And there's a great book that you introduced me to, which is 7 Levels of Communication, which talks about the in-person experience beating everything else. If someone only knows you as this online persona, it's so much harder for them to feel like they know, like, and trust you. There's no better credibility builder than getting in front of someone. So you're utilizing this online platform to get in-person events that are ran for or ran by and paid for by other people to basically position you to network your butt off, which is awesome. Like it's so good. And then you're putting them into a newsletter. That's yet another touch that they're getting from you. And so you are so omnipresent. One thing that people say about you is, I feel like I see you everywhere. Like, you're not just on their social media. Like, you had a billboard at one point in time. You're at these events. You're constantly throwing like free stuff. You've got ads going. Like, you are an absolute presence here in our community, and it's been so fun for me to try to compete with you. So I'm joking. I'm joking. No, it's just one. I'm just so proud of watching the realtor that you've become, and being there at the inception of it and being your first client has been just such a treat to see where you're at and how you're just crushing it in so many aspects of your life. Not to hype you up too
And
much.
we're just getting started too. And honestly, my success is y'all success. And to be honest, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in production. Maybe another couple of years, right? Because I love helping other people succeed. Like that's actually genuinely one of my passions. My mom was an educator growing up, and so when people come up to me and like, "Hey, I've got 8 houses under contract this month, thanks to the community, thanks to all the hard work that we've been putting together," it just means so much. But yes, Facebook groups work, building communities work. Yeah.
What would you say? So you've had the dads group. You're great with social media. Where did what are some other things that you're doing in your business that you felt, because Austin, Texas is a weird market right now, and the listeners may be from a market that's not so weird, or maybe it's seller favored, maybe it's buyer favored. What's one thing that's held true no matter what the market is, that has moved your business forward no matter what the conditions are? That's maybe something not so obvious from what we've talked about so far. Building influence, kind of touched on social media, not a whole lot. Like, has that been a big help for you?
Social media, yeah, for sure. I mean, including the Facebook groups, including the Instagram. One thing I
Because one
will
thing you've said that really stuck with me over the years is that your social media is digitization of your reputation, right? It's kind of like an online resume of sorts, where people can come see what you're doing, and you have a way to shape reality for the viewer and create a perception for them. And that's ultimately what a good online resume for a realtor should do. So if someone goes to your social media, what are they seeing? Like, what are you posting? What content maybe have you done recently that's proven tried and true?
I post a lot of really authentic stories. I know that
That's what I
stories
was hoping for, man. Stories. You're so freaking good at that.
I think stories really provide an opportunity to connect with other people that are in the same situation as you. And then for me, like if you want to get more clients, like you actually need to be able to connect with more people. And if you are like this robot that's like, I am a real estate agent, nobody's going to be able to connect with you, right? We live in an AI generation right now where everything's AI and everything's like less authentic. So for me, it's like, how do I be more authentic? How do I build more best friends, right? Like, what would you do with a best friend? For me, like, I always joke around with best friends. For me, it's like, if it's a new person that I'm meeting up, I actually do a lot of self deprecating jokes, right? I'll make fun of myself. And I was actually reading a book, it's called Primal Leadership, and they said one of the quickest ways to connect with other people is to make them laugh, right? And so if we can make other people laugh, then they'll open up more to you. And then once they open up more to you, you can ask better questions in order to get to a better result, right? And so that's one thing that's really helped me is creating incredible conversations by asking really good questions and then connecting with people. And real estate is a trust game. Like, and not a lot of people trust other people. So if we get better at building trust with more people, then we can get better at getting more clients because we're knocking down these walls of distrust, right? Everyone's getting advertised to, everyone is constantly seeing billboards 24/7, constant Facebook, constant Instagram ads. But if I can go from building a genuine relationship and then also building trust at scale, I mean, your pipeline is never going to be empty.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always going to have people reaching out to you because people remember how you made them feel, not necessarily what you said. Lots of like tried and true, not I hate using the word cliches, but these things are so true and you have to rehear that it's working for people. There's a reason that is a known saying. It's because it works.
It's the
And so,
fundamental.
yeah, absolutely. Now, your business wasn't always this way, and people probably want the secret sauce. So I'm going to ask you to open up a little bit. You made a graphic not too long ago that you shared again within the agent protocol community. And I'd love for you to just walk us through like what do your days look like? What is your routine like as a top producer?
So I go through something called the 2-hour protocol, and I'm going to bring it up really quick. But basically, the 2-hour protocol is 2 hours of doing intentional activities that actually get results. And I've been able to get so many clients just by doing these. Basically, I think it's like it's five separate things. It's one, it's I reset and refocus. It's two, it's I create content that actually converts. Three, I do something interesting and it's intentional lead generation. So it's inboxing and DMing people, right? And you remember back when we used to do this on tour where I would literally DM people that looked like us to go to our shows. And so I do that actually with my 2-hour protocol. And then fourth, it's local networking with activation. So I'll send referrals to people like we were talking about earlier, unrequested. Like they're not asking me for it. I just send referrals to people. In other words, like, hey Jamie, I just met up with this really good handyman and just wanted to give you his phone number because I thought whenever you need a good handyman, he might be somebody to reach out to, right? And what's cool is it's just a really easy conversation starter. And it's like, hey, I was just thinking of you. This is somebody that I trust. And what's really cool, it's doing two things. One, it's, hey, I was thinking of you. Two, it's if she actually calls the handyman was like, oh, that's cool. John was thinking of me as well. So I just created two conversations potentially, and I'm helping two people out, right? And then the fifth is cleanup and conversion. So that's just going through my past clients and my current clients and cleaning up my CRM or even following up with past people that maybe I have fallen behind.
I think what's cool about one, thank you for sharing, but two, I think it's awesome that this is a 2-hour protocol. This is
Mhm.
not a 8-hour per day protocol where someone starts the task and goes, "Oh my god, I've got so much more I've got to do." It's bite-sized, repeatable, scalable things that you can do every single day,
Mhm.
but it's all intentional, it's all active that moves your business forward. I think what happens is sometimes we get too focused on the easy stuff. We do the, house tours, right? Which are easy, they're sexy, it shows us in front of a product. But who are we hoping, like usually the audience, unless they're actively looking for that, it doesn't fall through, like it doesn't connect, it doesn't land with the viewer unless they're actively in that space. What you're doing is creating conversations out of nowhere that say, "Hey, I love the I was thinking about you. This made me think about you." Because most text messages these days are either when you need something or you're asking for someone to do something. And so it's almost a pattern disrupt to say, "Hey, I've got no agenda here. I saw this event. I thought it was super cool. Wanted to get it in front of you. I thought the family would enjoy. Or like, it doesn't have to be complicated. A touch to your database does not have to be something that elicits a response or some kind of expected return. And that's all about the giving heart and the mindset that you embody so well with your business. I would say here at the Wolfpack, one of the things that we've done is we have a big focus or a big edge in social media. So, how has the Wolfpack training, the Wolfpack resources or community played a role in your business today? Because for the listener who doesn't know, John Michael and I were at a different brokerage together, and we were going to open our own brokerage. We thought we're going to make desk fees, we'll get splits, it'll be great. And then we talked to someone who ran, I believe, the largest independent brokerage in the US, who is now with our brokerage. And we got to interview him and talk about why he made the decision to leave that model. And he was talking about just the liability. You're responsible for training, for keeping up with licenses. You can
Overhead.
get sued for anything, overhead, offices, and things like that. And it really changed the way that we viewed our business. So then when we were looking at switching, who we aligned ourselves with was really important. If we were going to not do the things ourselves, we wanted to get around people that were going to take us to that next level. How has the Wolfpack played into that for your business?
Well, the compounding effect of collaboration has completely changed my life when it comes to the wolf pack, right? I will say that we've got the best social media training bar none. And what's really cool is that Mike Sherrard, he's a full-time coach trainer, has literally trained over 7,000 agents, has over 117,000 subscribers to date on YouTube. And people are literally gravitating to his YouTube channel just because of all of the value that he gives, right? But what's really cool is that he collaborates with us on another level, and then we collaborate with our agents on another level, right? And so full transparency, yeah, like Jordan was saying, we wanted to start our own brokerage, and then we did the research. We were talking to so many brokers, and we're like, wow, all these people are in multiple lawsuits. They've got so much overhead, and the numbers did not make sense from a profitability standpoint. And so for us, we're like, hey, let's play chess and not checkers. Chess is let's think 5 steps ahead. Checkers is let's start a brokerage, and then we'll make money off of these agents.
It's like quick
Yeah,
money versus long money.
yeah, exactly. And so for us, it's like EXP and the Wolfpack is the best option for leverage and scalability, right? And so for us, it's how do we scale? How do we leverage? How do we work together for everyone to benefit, right? Agents want to partner up with me all the time, but I'm like, you know what? I might not be the 100% best fit for your needs, but Jordan is, right? And so now I don't have to take on the full responsibility. Jordan is one of the best mentors and trainers as well. And so they can partner up with Jordan, and now we both benefit, right? And so that's just one example of how the collaboration works with what we've got going on.
Even like there's so many different lines within the Wolfpack itself that EXP introduced something called co-sponsorship, which has been an absolute game changer. In the past, if there was a person who was in, I don't know, let's say Delaware, that wanted to partner with me, it was either they partnered with me or they had to, they'd say, "Oh, I wish you were here in Delaware. Like, I can't get over, like, in my head, I can't understand how you're going to benefit me being so far away." And so it would position them where they had to pick me or someone local. Now, with co-sponsorship, there's multiple different layers to this where we can sponsor you, get you all the Wolfpack tools and resources, and then co-sponsor you with someone who is local in your state, in your city, or you can use other people's tools and resources to fulfill maybe a lack or an extra toolkit as your value proposition too, which is just incredible. I think of next week, I'm interviewing Joshua Smith, who I've co-sponsored a few agents with, absolute killer. And the fact that I get to introduce my agents to his resource, and this is just one example. Like you said, there's tons of different examples of people with their own value props that we get to explore with our agent partners. But it doesn't have to be just us. I do think
I'm
we
gonna read it something off real quick. Is that okay? Free scripts, weekly coaching, YouTube training, Instagram strategies, Facebook group systems, high converting lead strategies, ultimate open house methods, tactical real estate trainings, done for you video scripts, systems and processes, marketing blueprints, client attraction strategies, no fluff, just results. I mean, and how much is all of that stuff? It's literally free.
free 99, baby.
And
Literally,
what's
it's just
really
who you partner with, and that's
that
why we're so vocal about it. And I think when we were looking at it, I looked at partnership as I looked at it differently. It was kind of like I approached EXP with such a caution because I was like, these people just want to make money off me. And I understand that maybe different organizations, maybe in the past, you hear the stories all the time. What's crazy is every single brokerage does something similar. I swear when we were at our last brokerage, I got recruiting calls from everyone except EXP, which is so funny that we get the bad rap for it. But all I'm saying is it took the right person to go, how can I sit down and equip your business to be more successful? And from the byproduct of that, sure, I'm going to make a small amount of money. I'm not going to retire off having you on my team. That's not the point. The point is, how can we equip you and make you better, more resourceful, get you plugged into a high profile, high production community, and it changes everything. Like I remember not being here and being like, I've everything you could have thought of, pyramid scheme, scam, get rich quick scheme, like everything, it all passed through my mind. And now that I'm on the inside of it, it's like, dang, I wish I would have done this like 5 years ago. I can't believe, like, I wonder where we would be if we started 5 years ago.
Yeah. Um, and to be honest, we got that opportunity and we said no, and we regret it now. And I think there's a lot of agents that do get the opportunity, they say no, and guess what? They're going to regret it. And unfortunately, that happens. And even when they interview with us, and then they interview with someone else, and then they go with someone else. Even never mind, I'll shut up.
We've just seen it. Like, there's a lot of, I hate whenever things are hyped up a certain way and then they don't pan out. I hate feeling like I got duped. I hate feeling like I got misled. And I didn't want that to happen to us. I was so skeptical. And at a certain point, you have to sit there and go, everything you just read off was everything I was looking for in my business. And I was like, I owe it to myself to at least see what this is about, see if it's legit. And it's worked wonders for my business. I have agent partners around the world, which is, I wasn't going to get that anywhere else. And then now through the collaboration of the Wolfpack co-sponsorship, it's an absolute game changer. If anything we said about that resonates with you and you want to see, just exploring what we can do for your business and if it's a fit, that's ultimately it. We're not hard salespeople. You're never going to be pressured to sign up for anything, but I feel like I'm doing you a disservice if I don't invite you to hop on a call with us and at least see what we have to offer.
And let me give you a challenge. I just came from a training, and it said that 20% of agents are not going to be licensed next year. Like 20% of the agents right now are not going to be licensed next year, but sales are going to go up 14%. So, in my opinion, if you are not in the right ecosystem for your success, you are going to be a part of the 20%, the 1 out of 5 that leave the industry. But if you are part of the right community, you are going to be a part of the agents that take advantage of 14% increase in sales.
That's market share, man. That's all it is. The people that can last and prep themselves now. You do the work now so that when the time comes and the market does get better, you're now better positioned than you were beforehand. And those agents that left the business just gave up the influence in market share that they had.
Yeah. So I think right now is one of the best times to persevere in real estate. The economic forecast was saying that basically 2026 is going to be exactly like 2019. And we look at the numbers back in 2019, and it was 4.3 million houses for sale. And right now we're at 4.7. So it's like about 300,000 difference. But compared to 2020 when there was like 2 million, so more than half less, right? And so very similar to 2019, that was a great year for real estate as well. But I'm excited, man. 2026 is going to be incredible. We're going to help a ton of agents sell a lot more houses, and it's going to be, and I'm going to sell a lot more houses too.
Let's go.
It's going to be incredible.
Well, I'm excited, man. Do you have any final words of encouragement for any of the listeners today?
Hmm. Well, go follow me on Instagram at John Michael Perez. I'm not sure if you were going to ask that next, but
I sure was.
I just highly encourage you to join our free agent protocol community. It's completely free. All that things that I listed recently are in there. And then also jump on a discovery call with myself or Jordan. We'd love to talk and just see if there's a good opportunity to help you succeed in business. I mean, imagine if you sold 2 more houses in 2026, just 2 more houses. That's an additional, depending on your market, 20, 30, 40 grand that you can make just by partnering up with us. And I think an extra 20 or 40 grand might be worth your time.
I'd take
So
a call for that.
right? I would. For the agents that stick it out, I mean, I know that we had a tough year. There was a meme that I shared recently, and it was like the agents that stuck it out the last 2 years, listen to them and trust them because they thrived during a very hard season, right? And if you stick it out in 2026, I promise, once you follow me on Instagram, it's going to be very worth it.
Well, you always get me hyped, man. All your videos resonate so well. Like I said, you're a great storyteller, you're a great inspirer, and there's no one I'd rather be in business with. So not to hype you up too much, but thanks for sharing your wisdom, hopping on today. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe if you want to stay updated with all of the episodes that we've got coming. Tons of value that's going to be coming out of this podcast. And we're pouring into the Agent Protocol community, our Wolfpack partners, and may have some more podcasts in the work for you. So thank you so much for listening. This has been the Realtor Success Podcast. I'm Jordan Brown at Jordan Sells ATX on Instagram. Catch you in the next one.